Most gurus give you vague advice, sounds good, but doesn't work in the real world. Today we're doing the opposite, direct answers to direct questions. There are no stupid questions in real estate, only agents too afraid to ask them. Now, I've been in this game for over 20 years now, and there isn't a question you can ask that I haven't had to solve for myself or my own business at some point. So we're going to run through the most asked questions from my DMs, covering everything from prospecting tactics to targeting suburbs and developing the right skills to win. So let's get keen. We have Matthew. Thank you for your question. He has asked the best way to secure the home when it's a first and final process. This sounds like a buyer question. So if you're a buyer and you're trying to secure the home and there's multiple offers and the agent has let you know, you've got to make your best offer. Look, I would start by asking the agent a lot of questions and seeing if I can suss them out a bit. So I would ask questions like, how many offers have there been? Has everyone else put in their best and final? I would ask him, what sort of offer would you make on a property like this? Now, depending how good the agent is, you're going to get different responses from different agents. They're not robots. So some will sometimes slip up and probably hint towards a price that you could possibly make. And I've done this when I've bought a property before, and I've said, hey, what do you think is a good offer for me to make? Right? If they tell me that price, that's probably what I'm going to do. So I would be asking as many questions to the agent as possible to try and figure out what price to offer. And then if you really like that home, if you want it, I'd offer a little bit more. And although it might seem like you're paying a little bit more than you want at the time, I can tell you 3 years later, you always go, I'm glad I bought that property. Very rarely does someone buy a home and think they just got the best deal in the world, okay? But if you're paying what you think or a slightly bit more, that is not a problem. Number 2 is from William. How to create momentum in your business when it's still waters. So meaning there's not much business going on. It's very still. Yeah, that's not a good place to be. William, I would say the best way to create momentum is to get on the phone to all of the people that you know that you have relationships with and do that, make calls, let them know what's going on in the marketplace. If you're focusing on a particular area of a marketplace, I would just be getting in touch with people who live and own in that area and providing information as much as you can to as many people. And I would do that day after day after day for 90 days, right? I'm telling you, you will make lots of business if you just prospect every day. If you have nothing going on, you should be on the phone cold and warm prospecting for a minimum, absolute minimum of 3 hours a day. 3 1-hour blocks, or, I used to do it for 4 hours a day. When I started my business, 4 hours a day for the first year. I made 950 grand doing that. And that was all just from being on the phone, right? So when nothing's happening, I'll tell you why nothing's happening. Because you're not doing enough of this, picking up the phone. Number 3 comes from James. How long does it take to verify a genuine buyer, and what kind of questions do you ask? Very good question, James, because a lot of people can waste a lot of time with buyers. Buyers don't understand that taking them around and showing them lots of properties when they're not ready is actually a big waste of our time. They think that that's what we do and we love doing it. We don't love doing that. We want to spend time with people that are about to do business. So look, it should only take you one phone call to verify a genuine buyer. And these are the questions I would ask. Number 1, how many properties have you made offers on recently? If they haven't made an offer on a property, red flag, okay? If they've made an offer on a property, green tick. Number 2, I would ask, what finance amount have you been approved up to? If they haven't even got their finance approved or they don't know how much they can borrow, red flag. They're not actually ready to pull the trigger on anything, okay? So if they haven't made an offer on anything, they don't even know how much they can borrow, red flag. Number 3, I would ask them, what exactly are you looking for, and what area do you want to be in? If they can't answer what kind of property they want, for one, but more importantly, they don't know what area they want to be in, red flag. Okay, so if you're talking to a buyer and say, oh, what areas are you looking in? Oh, it doesn't really matter. It could be over here. Actually, I like this one, but I'm also looking at this suburb that's, 2 kilometers away. Red flag. Okay, they don't even know where they want to be, so they're just not gonna like anything. These types of people are a waste of time. All right, they may eventually buy something, but you don't want to spend a lot of time on these people. Okay. Number 4, Henry. How many Plum partner independent brands are there, and what's the 2026 total target? Good question. So this is about my business, and I don't want to talk about my business too much, but we have 51 independent Plum partner brands. So who are they? What am I talking about? Well, in my business, Plum Partners, we help agents to create, run, and grow their own independent brand and agency. We help them from the launch phase to the creation stage, and then we do all the ongoing back-end administration, graphic design, social media help, training, mentorship, and we help them to scale those businesses. So that's what Henry's asking about. We have 51 of those agencies now. All of those were high-performing agents that now own their own brands. They're earning a lot more, and they're building successful businesses that are going to set themselves up better for the future. So yes, thank you, Henry, for that question. Moving on to number 5, George. George asks, do you only hire legends? Yes, obviously. I don't sit in the interview room and go, this person's not a legend. Please be on my team. They absolutely have to be a legend. However, hard to find out that exactly from an interview. So no, I don't just look for legend status. Quite often legend status grows over time as you get to know someone. But I certainly, in an interview, I'm looking for people who have what I think is loyalty to businesses that they've previously been in. So I wouldn't look at people that are jumping around a lot, right? And if they are, I'm going to be asking them a lot of questions about that, and I'm going to analyze their answers on all of those things. So if I am hiring someone that I see has moved 5 different places in the last 5 years, and all of their answers are blaming the workplace they were at, blaming the situation they were in, blaming everything else for why they moved, then that's going to be a red flag for me. If they have genuinely good answers that are not pointing the finger, and they're taking responsibility for whatever those reasons were, or they're just they're genuinely good reasons, then I will, it could be passable, but I would certainly be checking up on references on those sorts of people, right? People that haven't been who've been jumping around a lot. I would be very careful about doing the reference checks, and I would be calling people that they haven't told me to call. Okay. Number 6, Tama. Tama has asked, what are the most important questions you ask someone as they're about to leave the OFI, open for inspection? So open home. What are the most important questions to ask as they leave? Well, I think there's important questions you should be asking right from the start and when they leave, perhaps. But let's talk about the whole inspection, because you're not just going to ask questions when they leave. When someone shows up at an open home, firstly, building rapport first and foremost. Introduce yourself to people like you've known them all of the time. You want to build that strong relationship with everyone, even if you don't think that this is going to go everything. Leave a good impression on everyone. You can ask whatever questions you like, whether it's about themselves, their kids, do they live in the area, what are they looking for, how long have they been looking, but just ask some questions. Now, what I would also ask in an open for inspection is, would you like me to take you around the home and show you some of the great features that it offers, or would you prefer to just wander around yourself and take your time? I think this is really important because some people, especially with a private inspection, you might meet a couple at an open home and they're looking at your house or your apartment, and they just want to go around and they want to privately look at it and talk about it with themselves. And a lot of agents think that they have to grab them and walk them around and take them and show them everything, open every door. And they might be like just a little bit like not cool with that. They'd rather just you leave them alone and then they can come see you at the end of the inspection. So I would ask that though, because some people do appreciate you walking them around and showing them everything. Ask the buyer, hey, would you like me to take you around the home, show you the features, or would you like to just walk around yourself and then meet me back here in 5 minutes? Okay, really good question. Some other great questions to make sure that you're not leaving any opportunities on the table, right? Obviously, you want to ask them when they leave, do you like the home? Would you like to make an offer on the property? If not, is there anything that was missing? Would you like me to let you know of anything else that comes up that's similar? Things like that. Make sure you've got all their details. But I would also be asking questions, probing questions to find out more information about them, because these people could be sellers in the near future. And that's a really important thing for agents to have their radar on all the time. You've got to have your antenna beeping. Boop, 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 boop. Who could be a potential seller? Who is potentially business for me in the near future? And those people are people who have something to sell, or they have properties in the area, or they're looking to establish themselves long-term in this area and they're looking to buy now. So you want to build that relationship for the future. So you've got to be asking questions like, hey, so do you live in the area already? Do your children go to the local school here? You don't have to directly ask them, hey, what's your address? You can ask questions that tell you the information that you're looking for. Once you've got that information, so if you ask someone, oh, do you live in the area? And they're like, oh, yeah, we just live around the corner. Oh, cool. You can store that information for a potential appraisal, in a later chat, maybe when they leave. So then when they're leaving, you can say, hey, you mentioned to me that you live in the area already. You're obviously looking for a home to upgrade into. You might need to know what the value of your home is, right? Would it be okay if I came over and gave you some information about your home? Right? They haven't even told you the address, but they live in the area. So good questions that give you the information to ask better questions and get invitations into doors. Those are the questions you need to be asking. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the content. Just quickly, if you're interested in knowing what it might look like for you to own your own real estate business and brand, then that's what me and my team do. We help agents to create, run, and grow their own agency and brand so they can earn higher commissions and set up a better life for themselves. If you're interested in what that might look like, just click the link in the show notes and book a call with me or one of my team members, and we'll find out whether or not this is a good fit for you. Now let's get back to the episode. Number 7 comes from Bailey, who's asked, what's your opinion on door knocking versus cold calling? What are the key pillars for a prospecting plan? Really good question. I get this a lot, Bailey. Door knocking versus cold calling. Look, in my career, I was much harder on cold calling, okay? The reason I chose phone calls over door knocking was simply because of time. Now, I tried door knocking a number of times. It does work. I'm a big believer in it, but I'm just a fast-paced guy, and I like to just make stuff happen really, really quickly. And so in my area that I was is very apartment-based and lots of units and big buildings. So I found that busting out phone calls, I could get through a lot more. Some areas that are like houses aren't too far apart, lots of owner-occupiers, door knocking is really good and probably better. The benefits of door knocking are that you are at the door. So if someone someone opens the door, you're talking to them face to face. You can make a genuine, better connection with them when you're face to face. And if you are offering an appraisal or a price update on their home, you are literally there at their doorstep right there and then. So they can just go, yeah, come on in. And you've done yourself a full appraisal right there at the door. Right? Whereas if you're on the phone and you're asking people, hey, I'm calling because of this, whether it's a just sold, hey, we just sold this house in your street, we got a great price. Whilst I've got you, we're actually updating everyone in your street. Would you care to get an updated appraisal sent to you? If they say yeah, you're then trying to book a time to get into their house, right? So you're trying to schedule a time, and that might become hard. You're going to come up against objections. Even if you do book it, they might cancel. Whereas if you're at the door, you can just do it right then. So that's a big benefit with door knocking as well as the relationship building. But cold calling is better for fast pace, right? You can get through 100 properties in one day. You can't get through 100 door knocks in one day. You can get through maybe 40. So 8, Sam, what is a more important skill to develop, listing or selling? I.e. getting listings or the ability to sell. Well, that's a real clear and simple answer is listings for sure, right? If you don't have listings, then you can't sell anything, right? The agent that lists the most makes the most money. The agent that lists the most property makes the most money, right? And the hard part in real estate is the stock in activities, okay? So we have in real estate activities called either stock in. Stock in is every activity up until an agency agreement is signed. So that is prospecting, door knocking, appraisals, listing presentations, cold calls, warm calls, everything that you do to get an opportunity to sign an agency agreement. That is stock in activities. Those are the hard activities that everyone tends to avoid in real estate. Well, those who don't want to do well avoid them. And then there's stock out. So stock out is once that agency agreement is signed, you need to get it sold. So you got to get the photos done, do the ad text. You got to show buyers, do open homes, negotiate contracts, talk to the vendors, educate people, get it sold. Those are stock out activities. And those are generally a lot easier to learn. And they're the fun part of real estate that everyone wants to do. Okay? If that's the only part of the job that we had to do, then everyone would be good at it and no one would make any money. Okay? You have to be a master of the stock in activities, getting listings. All right. Number 9, from No to Property. How to effectively keep in touch with people without losing them. Really good question. I think the number one thing is to just be consistent with communication. So you're in touch with someone, you're doing them an appraisal, you're getting along really well, or you've sold a property to someone, it's gone really well, settlement happens, you've given them a gift, you've taken the photo, and then how do you not lose them? You literally just stay in touch, right? So scheduling calls for past appraisals, past buyers, past sellers, once every 6 months. They should be diarized or they should be put in as tasks in your CRM so that when you come in for a day, you've got a list of calls you make and, your scheduled catch-ups are just given to you from the systems that you've created. And then you're genuinely getting in touch with people all the time. Then you can just touch base with them via other sorts of marketing, post, text, email, and keep them up to date with what's going on in their area. Okay? Those are the little touch points that you can do, which are sort of mass done, and that just keeps you sort of on top of their mind. But really, it's the systems of, your calls happening and making sure that you've scheduled your calls to every person. Then you won't lose them. Number 10 is from Bev. If you were starting all over again, what is the one thing you would do each day to achieve success? Great question, Bev. I think the 2 things, and if you do these 2 things, I think you're going to be very successful in real estate. Number 1, go to the gym. Whether it's a morning thing or an evening thing, I think morning's better because it gets the blood flowing and it starts your day doing something hard and productive. Go to the gym, do some exercise every morning. And then number 2 is make sure you're doing 3 hours of prospecting minimum per day. That is it. Consistently every single day. If you do that, you will be successful. That is the silver bullet. Number 11 from Man. What's a good way to target a suburb? Good question. What's a good way to target a suburb? Well, first of all, I think you want a suburb that is A, close to your office, B, close to your home. If you can have at least one of those things, good. If you can have both of them, even better. So if your suburb is close to your home and close to your office, you're going to be more productive and it's going to be easier to manage your time and manage your business. Okay. Secondly, your suburb needs to have enough turnover. So before you choose your suburb, you need it to have at least 100 to 150 sales a year, minimum, your target area. Okay, so you need to look at what your suburb, see how many sales happened in the past 12 months, It needs to be 100 or 150 minimum. If it's more, then great. But if it's not 100, then because you need to work off about a 20% market share. 20% market share on 100 sales is a good market share. You can do more from there, but you want to aim to get to 20%, and that would be 20 sales. And if you're not doing 20 sales, then you don't have a great sales business. Now, you can't get 20 sales in a suburb that only sells 40 properties a year. I mean, you can, but you'd be getting 50% market share. There's not much further to go from there, okay? So make sure close to home, close to office, does enough sales, and then go hard. Number 12, Tama, if you were 24, again, starting from scratch, what would you focus on for the first 3 years? I've answered this already, prospecting. I would make every single day be either 4 hours of prospecting or 4 hours of hardcore calls. And in between that time that I'm not prospecting, I would be doing all the work to get the information to people that I promised them that I would get. So the calls are to get permission to give information. The spare time is putting that information together and getting it out to people and then calling them back. That's it. That's all you got to do in real estate to generate leads and eventually get business. Number 13 is from UL, who's asked, when will you have a broker on the podcast? A broker in Australia is someone in finance who organizes finance. Good question. Probably never, UL, to be honest. And not because I don't like brokers, but this is a real estate specific podcast. And I am trying to educate real estate agents in particular on how to be better agents. So not to say it'll never happen, but I'm not sure it's quite aligning with my target audience at the moment. But I love you, UL. I know who you are, and you're a great broker. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Guys, if you aren't giving me a follow on this podcast, I would really appreciate that. It does make it all the worthwhile to keep this free content going for you. Leave me a comment if you can, either on Facebook, on Spotify, on Instagram, wherever you see one of my reels. Anything that you can do to show a little bit of appreciation for the podcast really, really helps. And thank you very much for coming here today and bettering yourself by listening to this. See you on the next episode of Get Keen. Thanks for tuning into the Get Keen podcast. If today's episode got you thinking about starting your own real estate business and building your own brand, Plum Partners may be able to help. Book a call using the link in the show notes, and let's see if we're the right fit to help you create, run, and grow your own real estate brand. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and follow me on Instagram at Dan_Lee_Plum. Until next time, keep getting keen.